Welcome back to Hardball. As we said before, today President Obama met family members of those who died on September 11th, 10 years ago. Talat Hamdani lost her son that day, and earlier she met with the president. As we showed you before the break, her son was praised in emotional congressional testimony back in March of this year. Here's more of Congressman Keith Ellison at a hearing about the possible radicalization of American Muslims, a hearing whose very premise he opposed. Let's listen.
Mr. Hamdani bravely sacrificed his life to try to help others on 9/11. After the tragedy, some people tried to smear his character solely because of his Islamic faith. Some people spread false rumors and speculated that he was in league with the attackers because he was a Muslim. But it was only when his remains were identified that these lies were exposed.
Well, you don't see that much in Congress. Anyway, Talat Hamdani is a member of the September 11th Families for Peace Peaceful Tomorrows. Also joining us is Alice Hoagland, whose son Mark Bingham was a passenger on United Airlines 93. He and fellow passengers stormed the cockpit and tried to take that plane down, get it back from the hijackers before it crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Many believe that action kept it from reaching the Capitol. I want to go to Talat and talk about your feelings about today, this week, the last 10 years. Your feelings, Talat.
Today was a fitting tribute for President Obama to come down and visit the memorial and invite 9/11 family members who had lost their loved ones. I lost my son, and it was a very emotional moment, a healing moment, I should say, to know that my country and my president is there for me. It took 10 years, but I was it was a very healing moment. And the past 10 years have been a very uphill battle. Salman's there was malignment against his character when it happened, 9/11 happened. And we had to fight to clear his name. And at the testimony, Keith Ellison testified on behalf of my son. I was so proud, vindicated. And today, after meeting President Obama, my hope is, as a member of September 11th Peaceful Tomorrows, that now we need to look to the future. We need to bring in peace, usher in a peace of era, and get out of revenge and violence. We need to restore our rule of law. We need to close down Guantanamo Bay. And I hope the anti-Muslim sentiment that has overtaken our nation comes to an end. We are one nation, and we need to come together and heal as a nation and move forward in unity.
Boy, it's well said. Thank you. Let me go to Alice. Alice, thank you for joining us. I'm a little caught up in this. Alice, thank you so much. Your son, that was the one thing that day that everybody said, when the plane that got the word in time to react, the only people that knew what was going on in time to do anything about it, and your son was one of them. What's today mean to you? What's this week mean to you?
Oh, it means a great deal, Chris. It's such a joy to be able to watch President Obama reach out and touch and look into the faces of those beautiful New Yorkers and share their grief with them. My heart goes out to Mrs. Hamdani. I know how it is to lose a son, and it's dreadful and it's tragic, and nothing can stop it. Although I have to say that I do support Representative Pete King in his effort to deal with the radical Islamicization in America. And I am delighted.
We need to talk about that.
I am delighted that President Obama points out that this day and this act transcends political party absolutely. Our dogmas can be set aside because we can rejoice as Americans that an ugly, vicious terrorist has been put to rest.
Well, let me go back to Talat. This whole thing has really ripped the scab off a lot of ethnic problems in this country. And I just want you to know, I think our two presidents have done a very good job of distinguishing between a religion that's shared by 1 billion people in this world and evil. Do you think so? Both presidents, W and Obama. What's your feeling about that, your experience about that?
Yes, I agree. President Bush also said on the day that, we are not against Islam, and so does President Obama. And we do need, there are evil people in all faiths, all religions, all ethnicities, and it is not right to hold American Muslims responsible. We did not kill. Our people died there on the line. My son died there. He went to rescue Americans. He did not ask for the race, faith, or ethnicity. And what Peter King tried to do is wrong. He is trying to divide the nation, segregate the nation along a religious divide. There are Timothy McVeighs. There are people who are of all different religions who are committing crimes. I'm not going to hold responsible all the other Christians for Timothy McVeigh's actions. So,
what did you think of that? Can you give it to the president? Seemed to know you today, Talat. Did he talk to you personally or just as a group?
Yes, he went to everybody as personally. That was so good. That was the healing moment. He came. He was there to share our pain. I said, "Salaam alaikum." He responded, "Wa alaikum salam." I was so happy. And he asked me, "Who did you lose?" I said, "My son Salman." I told him about Salman, that he was 23 years old. He was a Star Wars fan. His license plate read Young Jedi. And my younger son Zishan was with me, and there were tears, but he exudes calmness. It was very emotional moment, but it was a moment of happiness. And the celebration was that we are a resilient nation. We are rebounding back. All me and my two boys, we are moving again in life.
Alice, your feelings about this, because they seem to be different, and I wondered, do you know something about Islamic people in the United States that concerns you? People who live here, have immigrated here over the years.
Well,
I have not met anybody. I've been to many mosques. I'm a member of many different organizations, Islamic organizations.
Yes.
If there was a single person who was really radicalized in a mosque, Peter King would have him. He would have identified him. There is nobody there. There is nobody there, and I'm very, I'm going to say it. Peter King is using this for his political agenda to pander to his base at the cost of American Muslims, and this is immoral.
Okay, let me ask you, Alice, do you have any reason to disagree with that, or to agree that believe that there's a problem that she didn't recognize there?
Well, much as I do not want to offend or disagree with Mrs. Hamdani because we have so much in common. Yes, clearly, I support Representative King, and I echo President Obama's point that this action transcends political party, but I do believe that what we need to do is continue to focus on the specter of radical terrorism in the United States especially, but also abroad. And
where do you see it? I'm looking for evidence as Talat just said, if he knew of a person who was an American or lives in America with a green card who has really become an American or is becoming one who's been radicalized, he didn't know one. That's why he had to hold a hearing.
Well, all right.
Do you know one? Do you know one?
Yes, I do. I was told that there was a mosque in Connecticut that was cheering on the afternoon of 9/11. These are things that I do not enjoy hearing.
Who told you that? Who told you that? I'm sorry. Where did you hear that?
Another 9/11 family member when we were in Washington, D.C. recently to walk Capitol Hill.
The question is, do you know anyone who was a terrorist trained over in the mosque in here? That was the question, not what happened 9/11.
Yeah, well, when only, Alice, in all fairness, if you only heard one story and it's hearsay,
that is not true.
That's all. Well, go ahead. You've heard more.
Yes, there are here in California. There are radicalized people who take to the internet and attack 9/11 family members. I've been a victim of that myself.
Well,
and
we know they attack Muslims also. I get emails. I got very bad emails, nasty emails, hatred emails.
So do I.
For being a Muslim.
So do I.
Well,
my heart goes out to you, Mrs. Hamdani. This is I feel
and in California there was that. In county, Bacchus County, Muslims were told go home, and they were raising funds for the poor.
I wish that Muslims would be more vocal and more vociferous in their complete renunciation of terrorism. I don't see it. I'm astounded by the deafening silence that I hear from the Muslim community in the United States.
We've carried the cross for 10 years. It's time to take it off.
The fact that you are a member of a religion who has managed to spawn this.
Anybody across the board,
just a second.
Christian, Jews, Hindus,
thank you.
whoever.
Just a minute. I heard both of your views. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I'm sorry about this loss to both of you.
Thank you.
And you do share it. And you do share the loss. Thank you.